Just having some VPN issues, guys. I had to disconnect VPN. And here we go. We are live. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for tuning into this Monday morning stream. It's July 29th. The stream's title is Bitcoin's putting off a bearish signal, right? To me it is. And I've pretty much have it highlighted on our chart. It's a very similar pattern of the consolidation of 2018 post the 2017 run up. So the chart on the left just shows what we did all of 2018 from February all the way out until the November break, right? This time around, it's not as big as a descending triangle. But that's what the formation is, and typically they're going to break the size of the formation. This last one from the actual break all the way to bottom dropped 50%, and that was the size of the actual triangle. Now we're dealing with a lot smaller triangle, and this one, if it plays out, wrong chart. If this one plays out, we're going to look at targets in the 7300 range, 7302, possibly lower. Depends where the actual breakdown starts. Now, before I go all in, full on bear, some of the bulls are gonna say, "Hey, what about a double bottom here?" In that case, I'm not convinced, right? I'm not convinced at all. This price action, what we saw yesterday, it looks to be just like a new futures contract opening, and that's what happened last time we had let's go like to 720. Last time we had a futures contract open on CME, we saw the same thing, and it was like down here in this range. I think it was this candle or this candle. So I wouldn't count on that too much. And once again, I haven't really looked to see if another futures contract open. It's just that type of price action. If we see bulls defend this zone again, right? If we see another bulls defending the zone, then it's going to be good. But until then, I want to see one of two things. I either want to see us break down to this target, right? To a 23% haircut. Or I want to see an Adam and Eve formation. Historically, Bitcoin, quote unquote, Bitcoin bottoms and an uptrend have been on Adam and Eve. So this would be our Adam, and we'd want to see this start curving back up for an Eve. But until then, the only other formation I'm seeing is going to be that bearish descending triangle, right? Unless we see something like this take place and we close above 10,800, I am a fan of the downwards target, and that's going to put us at like a 7,200, 7,300 range. Basically liquidity grab all the way down to this range low. I mean, if we look at the charts in comparison, yes, this was a really long, whoa, excuse me guys and gals. So if you look at the longer term chart, right, this one on over here, this was a liquidity grab. That's all that was. Bitcoin dumped it got a 50% haircut, and now it's back in that uptrend, right? So I think we're seeing something very similar here. It should play out a little faster than what we saw in 2019, and yeah, it's pretty much 2019 and the Q4 of 2018. You guys have any specific time frames you want me to look at? Specific indicators, things that contradict what I'm seeing? I know it could get ugly, right? This coordinate mark is our last head short signal. We had another head short signal up here. We had a long down below at the bottom of this triangle. To be exact, we had a bottom over here, or a long over here. And now our last long got stopped out and net short off these two tops. So at this point, I want to see a break of 10-9, or I want to see this triangle unfold and play out. Bitcoin dominance is doing something fairly interesting. And pull it up. So it sent out a newsletter update saying we're seeing a head and shoulders develop and that we're going to see alts rally. As of now, it looks like it wants to do like a compound fulcrum, which is a 2 head and shoulders. Right, so this is our big one. I'm going to go ahead and start drawing it. And if you guys have been following us for a while, you should know the significance of the BTC.D chart, the Bitcoin dominance chart. It's going to dictate whether alts are in season or they're in out of season. So this is our first head and shoulders, and it looks like the chart's trying to do another one down here right at that neckline. Probabilities of success here, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what market maker is going to do. I'm not sure what they're going to want to do. So I want to see how reactive this neckline is and if they can actually break through this trend line. Yeah, so I want to see this trend line fail. I want to see alts rally. I think they're way too oversold, and they need to continue their upwards rally. Now if we go up and we close above the trend line and Bitcoin dominance starts trending up again, we might see alts dump pretty hard on the way down to hit that BTC 7200 range or 7300. What's going on, Nick? Any chance you can share your opinion on Dragon and EOS? I can totally do that. You guys on Facebook, if you just tuned in, smash that like button. Same thing on YouTube. Alright, Dragon's looking pretty good. It looks promising. Let me find somewhere it's actually traded a little longer. So, the Bittrex daily chart. Draw some fibs. So moving averages on the daily look really strong, right? That's something I really like to examine. So this dragon could be essentially setting up for an upswing. The main problem is volume, or the lack of volume. There's 1.18 BTC being traded, so there's not really a whole lot of liquidity. Let me check some other exchanges. Hey, BTC's got barely a tenth of a Bitcoin. KuCoin's got 5 BTC, right? And that's the problem, right? The books are empty. A lot of coins have been trading on very low volume recently. So it's going to be expected, especially of smaller cap coins, if they're not on Binance, they're not on the bigger exchanges. But at this point, it's rallied above the 23.6 fib. It's trying to maintain there. I think this is looking strong. It's past the rejection levels. So if we were to do a fib rejection zone, it's above the 1.618. So we're likely going to see these fib targets play out so long as BTC dominance doesn't get completely wrecked, right? So my targets here would be taking actually the lowest one, so 1293, 1539, 1770, on the way up to here, back to that previous high. I think the only token that's made a considerable like higher high has been Ren, and I mean these are the things we want to look at in terms of what this cycle is doing. This was a big bull flag consolidation period. It made another jump. I mean, this thing's up from 310 satoshis to 1186. But back to moving averages, we might be somewhere in this zone when we look at Dragon, right? Because there's like a little bit of a bull flag. MA's just cleared. Took a little longer. Then it was a big consolidation triangle and then an up move. And I was talking about all season setting up past couple of weeks. We're going to see these bottom formations start developing on tokens, right? These big consolidation patterns. And this is on a daily chart on RAN, right? And this kind of fueled up. This triangle was all the fuel energy it needed to get up from 537 sats to 1100, and then it did another flag and just popped up. And this is looking like a little bit of a bearish harmonic here. So I'd expect a little bit of a haircut. Likely like a deep crab, right? And it's just going to do 50% pullback or so. All right, going over EOS. You know, it signaled EOS, and I'm pretty sure we got stopped out. Yeah, we did. The daily chart. So daily RSI is still finding resistance, right? I want to see what happens over the course of a couple of days with EOS. It's looking frustrating. There's this wedge here that broke out. It was too steep of a wedge, so you're likely going to see more of a pullback. Let's use fibs before looking at a longer term picture. It's going to be your swing low. It's going to be your swing high. So the bullish case for EOS would be little consolidation down here at the 50% fib level, maybe trip down to 61.8 before we continue an upwards move, right? So these are things I would look out for, or I would look out for one of those bigger, larger consolidation formations, something like we just saw on REN, and we're probably going to see on a lot of alts that I'm going to cover today. All right, LTC. I was asked about LTC when it was still in like the 120 range, and I said we were going to come down to the 80 range. Okay, this is looking good. Litecoin, Bitcoins are actually looking good. Okay. I don't go margin trading right away, but it is looking good. And if Litecoin starts pumping, it's going to lift the market with it like it had been doing, right? So, like, dude, this formation's so old. But what I'm seeing right away, is two attempts of a bullish pennant. So this right here, unlike when Bitcoin, the LTC BTC chart is looking strong, right? If you guys remember that REN chart we just went over. But we could end up, ranging and throwing back indefinitely, right? Not indefinitely, but for an extended period, just like what happened down here. Is a descending broadening wedge, broke out, retested, bull flag, broke out, retested. So now we're seeing one of these triangles on Litecoin, Bitcoin. So that's a good sign. We're still below the 23.6. I want to see it move up to 0.10 BTC on Litecoin to kind of regain that strength. But this to me looks like it's getting ready to cycle and go back up again. Going over LTC USD. Let's use TradingView for that. Looks like it. It looks like it. There's quite a bit of volume here. Litecoin USD, it's doing a wedge, which is also doing a triangle. All right, so at this point, it's like, do we take the candles or the wicks? And that's why I'm not a big fan of trading Litecoin. If we were to stick to candle bodies, we should see a wedge breakout take place. But if we're looking at the longer term scope, this could be just a descending triangle. So I would wait for the break of this trend line and a retest above before entering along here and taking it for a ride up. You guys hear that? Somebody's jamming out. One of my neighbors is. That is TradingView, yes. Fame, you guys want me to cover any other altcoins? So my long LTC target, if we were to actually like break out and take out the previous high at 145, this is gonna put us at like a 168. I mean, this is where I'd want to profit take quite a bit on the way up, because you're probably gonna kiss that and come back down and range out like a lot of these other markets are doing at the 1.272. I think Ether USD, my honest opinion, I actually will. All right, I've got a lot of views on Ether. ETH USD, Ether futures are coming to CME this year. They just are. So I think this is a liquidity grab. It didn't really pump as hard as BTC did, not at all. But I think we're doing that liquidity hunt down here at the 190, 189. I want to see a turn, right? It's not giving us a long signal by any means. And if we were to chart this or put some support and resistance lines, it's really not looking great, right, in terms of the pattern. So it's doing either like more than likely it's looking like an ascending triangle here, but we know it's highly correlated to Bitcoin. But if we can get an ascending triangle here, or even like a breakout to the upside, ETH BTC is gonna rally fairly hard. And back to the Ether futures are coming in this year. We're seeing the CME planning on launching them. I think we're going to see a big Ether run up, a really big one. And Ether's retraced back to 621.8, right? It did that already of the swing low. So as long as 188 doesn't break, I think this is the golden pocket, right? The 188 price point, it kind of brings it back to last year's lows. And if we can retest last year's lows and stay above them and go up, it's going to be good. Is that going to be sustainable for Litecoin while BTC is in a descending triangle? That's when it's going to get really interesting. Going to the daily chart, if we examine what happened after this run up, we see something very similar, where we had one of these triangle formations come down and sort of fake out the market, right? And then break out, fake out the market, and kind of continue to the upside. So I think this is a healthy pullback on Ether USD. All right, as long as it's 61.8 holds, that is the golden pocket. That's the golden ratio. And that lets us know that the big boys are still in this, right? Whoever fueled this move right here, this is the perfect amount of profit taking. But if this falters, if this breaks, and we're gonna look at $136 Ether, that's not gonna be good. All right, I'm going to cover the S&P, so I'm just going to go over to ES1 until you guys give me some alts. I haven't covered the ES or the stock market since last stream, and I was saying this is looking toppy, right? And it still is, but it's also looking like it wants to do a blow-off top, and that's why when we published on Medium, there's a diminishing demand for Bitcoin. That was one of the reasons why. And when I mentioned my target for Litecoin, I said it's going to be that 1.272 fib. Now you guys should be able to see why. When anything that's doing a big trend move, and it's likely to reject there, so a continued rejection here would put the ES back in a downtrend, right? Or the S&P back in a downtrend. And if we see that, we just might see demand come back into BTC and some of the hedging assets. I know you guys are bagging some altcoins, so show me some alts. Or so I'm just going to go over traditional assets, silver, indices, and so forth. All right, silver's still looking good. Silver is on the rise. I'm completely out of my silver positions. I had options at 1450 that expired. Or not expired, but I sold in the money. And back to that triangle formation we're seeing on BTC. You know, silver just did something very similar over the since June 2018, right? And now it did this double bottom, and now it's moving up. But there's that big triangle again. So we're likely going to see a breakdown unless traditional like indices start selling off a lot faster. Any thoughts on, do you think BCH is better? I don't think Bcash should exist. I think BCH, ABC, and Satoshi Vision should both just die. So Bcash Bitcoin is looking promising on the daily, right? But then again, this is like I think it's a pump and dump coin. That's what it looks like, right? Let's go over Bcash USD. It's holding at the 50. It's holding at the 50. I don't believe in Bcash. I hold no Bcash. I've actually only traded Bcash on margin, short and long in it. So, and I hold no position right now in Bcash. So that's my perspective. I don't see a use case for it, really. I think Ether is a much better coin. I think Ether should be worth a lot more than Bitcoin Cash should be. It's my opinion. All right, fam. You guys show me some more tokens. What are our active signals doing? I'm gonna go ahead and drop some on the screen. In terms of our altcoin trades, we're still up 32% on Nano, Ravens up 11, Theta 5.8, Vet at 3.5%, ADX, Zcoin, Knowles, and Walton just hovering between red and green. Then Nano's been our top performer. BAT, we got stopped out at BAT at target 2. So let's check over BAT since we're stopped out of it. I'm not sure if it's ready for re-entry. But I'm still eyeing it, right? Like, I'm not completely out of BAT. My bot position's out of BAT. My accumulation position is not out of BAT. So I'd likely want to pick it back up in the 2400, 2500 Satoshi range. Back here at this revisit if we get down. So I'm just going to set some alerts. I suggest you guys do the same thing. Going over lumens. Alright, so this looks like a consolidation pattern, right? You have an inverse head and shoulders? Not quite. It's not very prominent. It's not very prominent. It hasn't broken up yet. There's decent volume on there considering how thin volume is in the market right now. But I do believe lumens is going to rebound and fairly hard. Right, it's probably so oversold, and we're not above RSI resistance, or are we? No, we are, but I'd expect like a revisit down here at the 32 RSI, and then another move up, just because like there's really no momentum behind this move. You want to see a sell-off and then a spike up. Moving averages on lumens, are we in the momentum zone? We are in the momentum zone, right? So we could actually take off. But we know that a lot of tokens decided to come up and test this zone several times before their actual bigger move. Anybody else have any altcoins you want me to go over? Let's go look at Nano. It's our current top gainer, 35%. Once again, if you get in that momentum zone and momentum does come into the chart, it can get really interesting. So what's going on with Nano? What are we seeing here? We have a higher high, higher low, right? This thing's looking bullish. We're doing another flag. This could have been a cup and a handle, an attempted breakout. This looks like a 1.272 rejection of this move, likely. And it is. Look at that, right? It just lines up. So a retest here for if you get more volume, I expect Nano to keep making upwards moves to our target 4. And at that point, it would just be on a trailing stop of 7%. The daily chart, whoa, not a 3-minute, but a daily chart. Look at that. If this doesn't look bull runny, right? And I don't know what does. You got a bull flag, close above our key moving average, right? And now there's another flag attempting to break out. Hopefully it continues to do so off the last high move. We're consolidating above the 38.2, so you can expect to move to 61.8. And if we close above that, and then to reversal. At the lows, it was somewhat of a shoulder, head, shoulder, bull flag breakout. I mean, we signaled this thing down here, and now it's running, right? We want to let our runners run, and get stopped out of losers early on and ride the next one. Raven. It's kind of slowed down. It's frustrating. I did a big Raven position that I was accumulating, and I still am accumulating. And it's still up 11%, right? So we're still up 11% from our entry. And it looks like it's done this ascending triangle or symmetrical triangle, broke out to the upside. And now doing a retest of the resistance, right? Excuse me. Right, so I hate seeing that. I hate seeing a token start losing momentum, but this is likely a shakeout before the next move up. I think it's going to be one of the larger gainers this year. And this is when articles like this come out, right? Where I'm seeing a bearish formation, and then freaking headline, Bitcoin to 55K by May 2020. I mean, are these guys trying to just create liquidity, or I don't know what they're doing, but it's pretty frustrating when stuff like that comes out, when clearly we're looking at what could be a bearish break. Once again, unless we can get up, maybe clear this last high, clear the following high for an Adam and Eve. But as of now, I'm not, as of now, the tentative formation is a descending triangle. Well, fam, thank you for tuning into this stream. It's been good. If you're not on Discord, click that link. Join us in on Discord. We've been sharing quite a few charts and quite a bit of insight in all the channels. So hop on in and join us. Thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you guys next stream.